In this practice, we'll be doing 8 poses that are fabulous to do every day. Of course, you can add and subtract from these poses, but these will prepare you for a deeper yoga practice or prepare you for your day. We'll begin in a seated position. If sitting on the floor is slightly challenging for you, you might want to use a blanket or blocks. When you come to a seated position, lift your right foot up and grab it either at the ankle or the heel. Hold on and rock side to side, just to give you a little bit more freedom in the hip area, especially in the morning or after sitting for quite some time. It's really useful to get the hips moving in a seated position. I'm lifting the heel to get a little bit more fullness to the movement. Sometimes people like to take their arms underneath the calf muscle and pull the shin bone forward toward your heart, but you may find that you're rounding the upper back when you do that. So keep a nice elongated spine as you move the shin bone side to side. You can release that leg and take the left foot up, either hold it on the heel. Some people, again, can pull it in really closely, but for most of us, that's not that accessible. But the action is that the arms are pulling the ankle in toward the heart as you're moving side to side. You're staying seated on both sit bones and just enjoying a nice stretch of the hip area to get the hip area just slightly more hydrated, the synovial fluid moving nicely. Release out of that. Number 1, the baby cradle action. Number 2 is to work the shoulders. So come to a standing position. Take your arms in what looks like a W position. Spread your fingers so that you get a nice tone in the muscles of the arms, and draw your shoulder blades in toward each other. As you hug the shoulder blades in toward each other, you feel this nice opening of the chest. Do that several times. You can pull your elbows forward and then reach them back, and the hands go back a little bit more. Reach the elbows forward, several repetitions. Draw your elbows forward, hands slightly further back as you draw your shoulder blades in toward each other. Few more repetitions. Elbows forward, hands back. You open the chest. Elbows forward, hands cocked slightly back as you open the chest. So you feel this nice fullness in the upper chest. Number 2, the cactus pose. Now let's see if we can combine number 2, the cactus pose, with a lunge. Number 3, the lunge has your right foot forward, your left foot back. Now bend your left knee without taking the right knee way forward. See if you can keep the right knee right above your ankle and straighten. And bend your left knee. Some people can take the left knee all the way to the earth. I'm not so proficient to do that, but this is a nice balanced pose. If you find that the heel lifted takes you too far out of balance, then plant your back heel, bend your back knee. You'll still get a nice Achilles tendon stretch here if you do just a slight bend to the back knee and then straighten. If you can, lift your back heel as you bend your knee and not take the front knee too far forward of your toes. Just do several repetitions. Now let's add the cactus pose. the arms in this cactus pose or this W shape. With your elbows forward, you reach your hands back to really open up, and you bend your knee to drop a little bit deeper before straightening the legs and opening the chest. You bend your knee, you open your arms nice and wide. Last time, bend your knee, you open up, release your hands, and step your back foot forward. You might have found that the opposite side, the opposite hip, gets a little fiery when you do that. Take your left foot forward, take your right foot back. I find this pose quite challenging. I've seen some people that can drop the back knee all the way to the earth, but you really have to honor where you're at, right? As you come to the form with the back knee bent, we'll just try it a few times here without using the arms and straighten, just a few cycles where you're bending the back knee, drawing it down and straightening it. I find this really challenging. I've had a number of knee injuries, which makes it quite challenging, but it really strengthens the muscles that protect the knee. Now I'll add the arms. So take the arms in this cactus pose, pull the elbows in toward each other before opening the chest and straightening the leg. You pull in so that you can expand out. The slower you can do this with control, the more it really creates this feeling of strength, stability. Keep on expanding. A few more repetitions where the back knee draws down and you come toward a straight leg. You pull in with the arms, you expand out. Release your hands, step your back foot forward. So that was number 3. So we've done the baby cradle, the cactus arms, and the lunge. And your choice, you could combine the lunge with the cactus arms. For number 4, let's come to all fours position. As you come to all fours position, your choice, you can come to a full plank position with your knees lifted, or just take your knees to the floor. Draw forward first and lower yourself toward the floor and rise up. We're not going all the way toward the floor. We're just giving our shoulder blades a little bit more strength in the action. As you draw forward, you draw down. Inhale, rise up. Make sure your elbows don't flare wide as you come forward, and lower yourself down and rise up. And 2 more. Come forward, lower toward the earth, push into the earth to rise up. 1 more, forward, lower, and make your way all the way down to the mat. So number 4 was that plank to lower down. Some people call that a push-up, but that was a modified version of push-up. In plank position, to continue that shoulder work that we started, take your hands nice and wide. Come to a fingertip top position. Hug the shoulder blades in. Inhale, pulse up. Exhale, down. Inhale, just allow your breath to get this nice open quality, this lifting quality. We're not putting too much weight on the hands as we lift up on the inhale. Exhale, you soften down. In fact, see if you can lift up with hardly any weight on the fingertips to really get the back muscles to engage more fully. Exhale down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften down. So that was number 5, a Cobra pose. Now let's come through all fours position to downward facing dog, just to make our way to a standing position. You can come to standing however you wish. And as you come to a standing position, step wide. In a wide stance, we'll be extending the side body length from the pelvis to the armpit, which I find really critical to each yoga practice. And a pose that you'll find so liberating in this regard is Parsvakonasana, a side body stretch. Turn your right toes out, bend your right knee, take your forearm to the top of the thigh, draw the top of the thigh back and draw your tailbone down so that you get a nice length from the pubic bone to the navel. As you take the head of your left arm back, reach your left arm up and spread your fingers. Keeping nice tone in the muscle of the arm, reach over. Once you come to the form of the pose, see how you can refine it. Maybe it's dropping the front thigh a little bit closer. Maybe it's putting a little bit more effort in the back leg to create the strength and stability. Or maybe it's simply the breath. Can you expand the side body even more as you root down through the back foot? Inhale, lift yourself up through the power of the back leg. Release your hands, turn your left toes out. Look at the lineup from the front heel to the back arch before bending your knee. And keeping the back leg strong, the back foot rooted down nicely, draw your forearm to the top of the thigh. Take your right arm up and spread your fingers. Spread the fingers of the left hand as well so that you get this nice action in the chest. As you take the top of the thigh back, you draw the tailbone down, you lift up from the pubic bone to the navel to get the length of the front body before extending your arm up and over your head and drop yourself a little bit deeper into the pose, keeping the steadiness of the back leg. This skillful action has you root down before inhaling to lift yourself up out of the pose. Exhale, release your hands. So that was number 6 in our sequence of 8 poses that are great to fit into your daily routine. Now, number 7 is a squat. For some of us, having a chair nearby is really helpful. So I'll bring in a chair just to demonstrate. For those of us that have got any knee issues or squats are too challenging, having a chair for some of us is a useful landing point. So, of course, there is a yoga pose that the English equivalent is called chair pose, but or Utkatasana. So it's very apropos that we have a chair for chair pose. But we'll be going toward a full squat position. For many of us, the standard hip distance apart for our feet may not work. So take a wider stance, and you can even turn your toes out slightly for this. As you bend your knees, the knees, of course, will go forward, but see if you can just train your knees to come back slightly. So you're roughly trying to keep the knees over the ankles. You may want to use your arms to come down toward this chair. Now, find out as you draw yourself down, maybe you want to draw yourself all the way to the chair and rest. Or if you can just stay just slightly elevated to root down and rise up, that's a fabulous way to work number 7 of our poses, the squat pose. Now, for those of you that don't need the security of the chair there, let's go a little bit deeper. Those of you using the chair, let's do a few more repetitions. So with or without the chair, so get a nice steady foundation. Again, for some of us, it can be a little bit wider. As you lift your arms to help you out, take note of how your knees are aligning themselves. They will go forward, but can you keep them drawing slightly back as you lower yourself down to the mat? And can you lift yourself up slowly? We'll do a squat one more time. If you go slow with control, that will give you strength and stability. You can use your arms to help you balance out. You've got a nice alignment, knees right, slightly forward of your ankles. You drop down. You hold the pose. The legs stay strong. You pull the legs in toward the midline of your mat to rise up. You can release your hands. Now let's come to number 8 in our list of must-do poses, to lie on your back. Lie on your back with your knees bent. Place your hands to your low belly. Lift up your right foot and take your right foot down. Just do several repetitions of this. Lift your right foot up and take it down. Now, maybe you can take your right foot a little bit further. Just test it out for yourself. And lift your right knee up. Take your right foot slowly down. Lift your right foot up and take it down. And up and down. Maybe you can even come toward a straight right leg where you lift your right leg up and the right thigh is going to align itself with the left as you take the right leg slowly toward the earth. The right leg lifts up. So any one of these positions will help you engage your core muscles. And you want to go slow as you repeat these cycles. You keep a nice evenness to the actions, a nice engagement to the lifting leg, whether the leg be in the bent leg position or straight leg position. You just can feel how the lifting of the leg just helps you with engagement. Let's do that 2 more times, very slowly. The inhale breath is full. The exhale breath is long. Now bend your right knee and just pause here for a moment. You'll feel the engagement of that side of the leg. And just with your hands resting at the low belly, you start to feel how you're engaging the core. If you need a little bit more strength and stability, you may want to take the palms facing down on your mat. As you come to the left leg, just lift the left leg up and take it down. And this leg will be slightly different, obviously, than the others. So just find out what is most accessible for you on this side. Can you take the leg a little bit longer, drawing up and down, slowly engaging. Or maybe you can take the leg straight and lift up before lowering down. Keep the action going, but so slow. Keep a nice engagement of the lifted leg. See if you can get a little toe spread. We're not lifting the legs so high that you feel like the low back is just flattening to the mat. We're trying to keep the curve. So you lift up and down. And 3 more times. Lift up and down and up and down. Lift up and down. Rest your left leg and your right leg. As you straighten the legs, release your arms to your side with your palms facing up. We didn't include in our list of 8 poses Savasana, but this resting pose is a wonderful way to assimilate the actions that you did in the 8 different poses. Allow your arms and your legs to feel completely supported by the earth. If you're feeling a slight imbalance in the legs, just as if the feet are like windshield wipers, just draw them to the side, back up, and to the opposite side so that you feel a little bit more balanced action after working one leg, the other leg, sometimes getting both legs on the same page, the same feeling before Shavasana. It's really critical to a more restful and easeful, tranquil Shavasana. You allow your breath to feel very free and natural. There's a softening of your facial muscles. You enjoy the full support of the earth. You breathe in deep and out long. You breathe in deep and out long. You breathe in deep and out long. You may continue your rest in Shavasana, or as you move slowly by bending your knees to draw over to the side before using the strength of your arms to lift you up. we honor the teachings of yoga, the teachings that just allow us to get to know our body, our strength, our stability, to support us in our daily life. Place your hands right in front of your heart. And to the teachings of yoga, we bow. Namaste.